All right, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, man?
Doing good.
All right.
What's your name? Where you from?
My name's Anthony DeVita. I'm originally from Nashville. I lived in New York. My mother's in Texas. That's where I'm trying to get home to.
Okay. It's like growing up in Nashville.
It was a lot of fun. I remember having a neighborhood full of kids, and the school was nearby. We had a playground. I was involved in sports and stuff like that
Yeah.
until I became more antisocial. I became homeschooled and stuff like that. So I kind of became more insular.
Yeah.
I guess that's I spent summers up in New York with my grandparents.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really get that involved in the community.
What sports were you into?
Soccer was my main thing. I love soccer. And I ended up getting into track later on. But soccer was my main thing. I loved it.
Yeah. Are you currently homeless?
Yeah, I'm currently homeless. I've lived places, but never had a lease in my name, actually.
Yeah.
So it's kind of been a long time.
How long have you been homeless?
For about 2 or 3 years. Originally, I was homeless in New York, and then I came to Nashville probably 2 years ago. I was homeless for like 6 months here. Then I went back to New York, and I had a place to stay for a couple of months, but I split with the person that I was sharing the apartment with. I couldn't afford it anymore, so I ended up back in the street.
Yeah. What initially was the cause of you becoming homeless?
Initially, I thought that I could do things on my own without my family, without friends, and I moved to a place that, I didn't have any support system, so I ended up getting sick and hurt at work, and when my period of time where they were able to cover it with the insurance was up, I was still injured and I couldn't work, and I fell behind on some bills, and then it led me to depression and addiction. Started drinking a lot, which led to, more cocaine use, and that's expensive in itself. So
Yeah.
I just kind of started doing things that weren't conducive to bringing me back home.
So how much were you spending on cocaine?
On cocaine, if I was spending money, probably $200, $300 a week. But a lot of times I didn't have money, so I was trading items, my personal items, things that were important to me, that had, sentimental value. That
Yeah.
wasn't really worth trading away.
How did you get introduced to cocaine?
That's funny, actually, because my family has had drug problems in and out. My cousin actually died of an overdose. My father was addicted to cocaine. My mom fell heavily into debt with a drug dealer, and she ended up suffering a lot of injuries. Like, she got burned, literally. That's why I got a phoenix tattooed on my arm.
Wow.
So I knew that drugs were out there. I knew it was a way to kind of numb the pain, and party lifestyle was available to me. So it's readily accessible.
You said your mom got burned?
Yeah.
Like in a fire?
In the fire, yeah. She was trying to cop some drugs. I guess she maybe didn't have the money, or she was getting smart, or I don't know how it all transpired. I was pretty young.
Yeah.
But I remember going outside and hearing screaming, and it smelled like gasoline. She was on the floor. She was burning up, literally on fire.
Wow. And I'm sorry that that happened to her and that you gotta, go through that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Have you tried rehab?
I have actually completed rehab. The only problem that I have with it is that I didn't carry what I learned in rehab into the street. It wasn't really applicable because I felt that all the stressors and the temptations that were there, I already knew what I had to do to be sober because I've been sober for a long time.
Right.
Before I got introduced to drugs, right?
Yeah.
But those stressors and that depression was almost too much. I wasn't able to apply those tools that I learned.
Yeah.
So I think now being a little bit more mature, it might be different. But then I was young then. I was 22, 23 at that time.
Have you suffered from withdrawals?
Withdrawals, typically not. Here lately, yes, in and out of withdrawals. A lot of it's mental though.
Yeah.
I think that physical withdrawals are a big thing, but being that opiates aren't really my drug of choice, and alcohol isn't something that I've used heavily enough to have to suffer withdrawals from.
Yeah.
It's really a mental thing. It's about putting your days together,
Yeah.
you know.
So being out here, how do you support yourself?
That's a difficult question. I scavenge a lot. I pick through garbage, things that people have discarded. Hope that it's valuable to somebody. I'll trade for money or sometimes drugs if I can find them, you know. Anything that I can do to obtain something of value so I can get to the next part of my day.
Yeah.
Food and drink. Sometimes I've had to steal.
Yeah.
I've flown the sign before hoping for snacks or money or drinks or
Yeah.
anything, you know. Just it's like a survival thing, just minute by minute.
What do you think it'd take for you to get back to housing and get back, to a better quality of life?
Well, first of all, I got to get my ID. And second, I just got to do what I know works and stop trying to, reinvent the wheel. There's a balance. You know, some people have their vice and they're able to balance that with a lifestyle that's conducive to housing and stuff like that. But I know that I can't.
Yeah.
So I had to be able to find new vices, and which I do have, and lean on them instead of the ones that made me take steps backwards.
Yeah. And it's said that some people have to want to do better. They got to be ready. Are you in that position, or are you like conflicted?
I'm not so much conflicted. It's I hit rock bottom for sure.
Yeah.
By the time you start robbing and stealing, when you said you never robbed and stole,
Yeah.
and you can't say that anymore, now you're taking from people that have it because you don't, and that's something that goes against my values. So like,
Yeah.
and I know that, but am I ready to fully commit myself to doing the right thing all the time? I've been doing the wrong thing habitually so long now. Yeah, I may be ready, but am I able to fulfill that? I don't know. I might disappoint myself, and that part is terrifying.
Yeah. Have your family tried to reach out to you and help you out?
They have, and at that time, like I said, I wasn't that receptive.
Yeah.
I thought that I had things under control because it wasn't rock bottom at that time.
Yeah.
I think I know that I've exhausted their patience.
Wow.
So now it's on me to make that decision and make those commitments and take those steps.
Yeah. So being out here, it's one of the worst things that you have seen.
On the street, I've seen people shot. I've seen people stabbed. Seen people get beat up. I think, but one of the worst things that I've seen is people who have what they need and still doing those things to people who don't have what they need because they're acting in desperation. So I think like the selfishness, I think in general, is what I've seen is the worst.
Okay. Has anything happened to you personally out here?
I can't really speak on that, just because. I mean, things happen to everybody.
Yeah.
But there have been times where I put myself in positions to be a victim, and there's been times that I played the victim and reaped exactly what I sowed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Was there anything you wanted to be like growing up?
I wanted to be a lawyer. I was in college. I realized that I couldn't sit still long enough to sit in the courtroom.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to be a speech pathologist.
Yeah.
So I changed my major to psychology and criminal justice. But then I started catching crimes and started developing a rap sheet. So there's no way I could work for the government or anything like that. It's not like, I don't want to be police, but I was interested in diagnosing people's afflictions and how that can affect, like how it's really derived from the brain and how the brain affects speech.
Yeah.
So.
What was the longest time you spent in prison?
I spent about the longest time in one stretch.
Yeah.
One stretch, 1.5 years. But I did 3 years in prison 8 months in counting.
Wow. What's one of the worst things you saw in there?
Teeth
Teeth? What do you mean?
through the cheek,
One more time?
through the cheek.
Oh, you saw a teeth through the cheek. How did that happen?
Because people feel like the only way to get respect is through violence.
Yeah. Oh, wow. For people, trying drugs for the first time or thinking about it, anything you want to say to them?
One, is not worth it. Two, if you know you have an addictive personality of any kind, even things that are good for you, drugs will tear you up.
Yeah.
And take your money, take your time, take your mind,
Yeah.
and then your spirit is for sale.
Right.
When all those things are gone, you have to find your way back to who you were before drugs.
Yeah.
And that's a long journey, depending on how deep and how long you sacrifice your sanity.
Yeah. And you're pretty level-headed, amongst a lot of the folks that I've talked to. You still have a, good head on your shoulders, communicate really well. So it's, it's still, hope, and you can still get back on track.
Absolutely, but it's just also a message to other people. Like, it can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
You can be as smart as you want, you can be as strong as you want, but eventually it's going to catch up if you let it, if you allow it to consume.
Yeah. Wait, any last thing you'd like to say to the folks that may know you personally that see this, or just in general?
Just that even when I'm at my best, it's sometimes not good enough. I don't give up hope. So every day is a new day for me. I'm moving forward. I just hope for the people that I let down that I'm able to make it back up in time. It's not gonna happen tomorrow,
Yeah.
but it's not your fault.
Yeah. But I appreciate it, and I wish you the best.
Thank you.